Hello, hello. This is Olga with AskYourSoul.org, and today I thought we would do a pick a card reading again, and this one is going to be about your karmic lessons for this lifetime. Dum dum dum. I know it sounds very mysterious, but hopefully it's going to be an interesting one. All right, so let's see. I'm going to use this deck for most of it, and then we'll just get some maybe like advice at the end from this one. And again, I always post the decks I'm using below the video, just in case you're interested, so just FYI. Okay, here we go, and we have these three beautiful stones, which I still haven't had the time to look them up. I'm really sorry, but I have no idea what they're called. All I remember is this one is good for healing, but I really need to get on that. So go ahead and choose the one that resonates with you the most. Just right off the bat, you'll be like, this is it. Just don't overthink it, just go with the flow. And this is going to be deck number 1, or pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So go ahead and make your choice, and then look down below the video to see the timestamps, and go ahead and go straight to your timestamp if you'd like. Alright, so without further ado, pile number 1. And by the way, I decided to go with 4 cards per pile, and basically each one of them represents some type of a karmic lesson that you've come here to learn. And this is very interesting because even though I shuffled the deck really, really well, and this was not supposed to happen, it totally just did. And so we have 4 cards of 4 different chakras, which is very interesting. I don't think I've ever had that before. So I think the first and like the most important one is this one, solar plexus chakra. So to me, right off the bat, this chakra, and this is something I've been struggling for a long time, because I do believe that my physical ailment, which is ulcerative colitis, which I've had for like over a decade, is something that represents a problem with this chakra. Maybe the base chakra as well, but this one the most. So this one is all about your confidence levels. It's all about you kind of like believing in yourself and your relationship with yourself. Like, do you love yourself? Do you think that you're worthy? Do you think that you're good enough? And this chakra is kind of like really encouraging you. And the fact that it's reversed out of all of them, I think that makes it even more of an issue, or more important, I guess. But it's about you finding your own strength deep within and really noticing how powerful you are. Being kind to yourself and being strong, not depending on other people's opinions, I guess. And finding this inner strength to do your thing and to feel good about yourself and to really respecting yourself and your body and who you are deep inside. So this is a big lesson for me as well in this lifetime. It just really makes me think about my relationship with my ex many years ago, but it was such a powerful relationship, such a powerful attraction. It was just, like turned my whole world upside down. And to this day, I'm kind of like, was he my twin flame? It's one of those relationships that just, like, you just can't like simply let go of, And I feel like during the course of that relationship, my solar plexus chakra suffered probably the most, because I just completely lost faith in myself and who I was. And, it started off as such a beautiful, passionate relationship, and then it ended up being like the hardest, darkest relationship I've ever had in my life. In fact, I feel like my colitis was kind of maybe the result of all the psychological turmoil and just everything I went through as a result of that relationship, So I feel like for me to regain the strength and to kind of come back to myself and see that I have power, I have confidence, I'm good enough. I'm still good enough even though I wasn't good enough for that person, you know? I'm good enough for God, I'm good enough for myself, I'm good enough for many other people. And even if I somehow wasn't, it doesn't matter as long as I'm good enough for myself. And so this is, to me, this card is about taking your power back and just believing in yourself, really. And then this one, throat chakra. Yeah, so this one kind of, to me, goes hand in hand with this one as well. Because it's all about speaking your truth. It's all about really like believing in yourself enough to actually say what you feel, say what you think, and let people know like where you stand on this issue, and just being, you don't have to be asking for a conflict or anything like that. It's just you expressing yourself. And I think the art of expressing yourself is in your ability to say what you want to say, to really like let the other person know what you would like them to know, but without offending anybody. You know what I mean? And it's really hard. You have to be like a really good diplomat, because sometimes, especially if there is a lot of like emotion involved, it's really hard to just like stand back and be like, how do I phrase this in order not to offend the other person or like make them feel bad or insult them or whatever. And especially if you're just like, if they said something that hurt you, automatically you want to like get back at them, whether or not it's even conscious. But it's really important to take a moment and step back and kind of think in your head, how can I phrase this in a way that still lets me express myself and gives me a voice, but also is kind of gentler on the other person, or just, it's not as much about offending them as it is about expressing myself. Okay. So it's definitely an art and definitely something I'm still learning, probably will always learn throughout my life, but this is important. So your other karmic lesson in this lifetime, it looks like, is being able to stand your truth and express yourself and not being afraid to speak up. And I mean, I hate when people tell me to speak up. I hate it. I think it's just one of those things where like I feel I've been conditioned like most of my life to not speak up, especially like when I was growing up in Russia and like going to school there, which was an amazing, beautiful, wonderful school, very tight-knit community, and everybody was close and everything. But during the class, nobody was really encouraged to speak up. And it was I feel like it was kind of a cultural thing. Maybe it's already changed by now, because it's been a while. But at that point, like during my childhood, it was not, like I wouldn't say it wasn't allowed, but it was kind of like frowned upon, okay? Like you're there to learn and to listen first and foremost, not speak up. And so I've kind of been conditioned to be this like quieter, like introverted person who just absorbs the knowledge and listens. And I've also always thought that people don't really care about what I have to say. Like, why would anybody care, So for me to even be creating these videos, and it actually started with my music channel, this is like a big deal, honestly, to this day. Like even now, even though now I'm more comfortable, I guess, speaking up, but not that much more, to be honest. Okay, like I'm always working on it. I'm always pushing myself out of my comfort zone, and so this is kind of me doing just that. So I feel like this is really encouraging you to speak up, but also be careful about how you do it. Be mindful of how you do it and what kind of effect you have when you do speak up. Because, it's kind of, I don't know if it's pointless, but it's just not effective if you are speaking up, but nobody is receptive to what you have to say just because of the way it sounds or just how you phrase it, you know what I mean? So you just have to be really mindful of that. Okay, next one is base chakra. This one is all about sex. Just kidding, not really. No, but it is kind of. Known as the base or root chakra, this energy center is situated at the base of the spine and is most closely related to all of your earthly issues, such as survival, the physical body, issues of money, sustenance, safety, and shelter. To balance this chakra, practicing yoga can be extremely beneficial. Dancing or light physical exercise will also help keep the energy flowing and harmonious. Honoring your body and taking care of it on the outside will bring you well-being on the inside. It works both ways. Yeah, so interesting that this one didn't mention sex, really, because I feel like it's kind of a big part of it. But survival, yeah, definitely. It's it's all about like sex and money. To me, that chakra like is the closest associations are sex and money. But it is about how safe you feel in the world, how protected you feel, how grounded you are being in this world. And money is a big aspect of it. And just, if you know about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I feel like this is the base level, your survival, the stuff that you really need in order, like before anything spiritual or whatever can happen, this has to be okay. So you really have to take care of yourself, take care of your body, take some time to understand your body's needs and also anything that has to do with your safety and security, the feeling of safety and security. So of course money comes into place, right? Because if you don't have any money, it's really hard to feel safe and secure in this world. So if this is something of a struggle to you, then you can rest assured that this is also one of your karmic lessons for this lifetime, as hard as it feels. And you do have to start with your own body, because that's something that you can have control over, like right now, literally at any point. If everything else feels out of control, this is the one thing that you can actually control. And make sure that you do a really good job, like taking care of yourself, taking care of your body's needs, and noticing, is this beneficial for me? Is this good for me? Or is this something that I just want in the moment just because like it tastes good or whatever, or it feels good, but I know that deep inside it's really not good for me. So it's kind of like you feed your ego, but at the same time you are putting destruction in your body. You're like ruining it in some ways, And of course it's usually not right away that you notice the consequences. It's way down the road, and then people wonder like why they feel sick all the time, why this, why that, like why is their life so difficult. But I feel like a lot of it is actually within our control. And if it's not, we again always have control over how we look at it, how we feel about it, what we do with our energy, with our vibration. Do we like raise it? Basically, what do we do to make the situation more tolerable and better for ourselves? So definitely, I guess my point is, make sure you take care of your body as much as possible. And then we have the beautiful heart chakra. Parallel to the heart, this chakra represents unconditional love, compassion, harmony, relationships, and healing. It's believed to be the link between your mind, body, and soul. Balancing this area may take a while, but you should allow all the time that you need so the healing energy can get through and flow freely. By loving yourself and others, as well as learning forgiveness, you'll become more attuned with spirit. And I feel like this one is huge, and most people do have a problem with their heart chakra, just because if you've ever had an experience where you felt like your heart was broken, guess which chakra was affected by that and was like contracting and closing when that happened. It's this one, or like not even closing, maybe like blocked, just some kind of a distraction in the energy flow in the chakra. That's this one, unfortunately. And again, coming back to my love experience many years ago, I feel like it did such a number on my heart chakra that it's taken me, I feel like even now, like 15 years later or whatever, I'm still not completely open in terms of the heart chakra. I still feel like I can't fully just let go and love again. And of course, I mean, I've done so much work on myself, and anything from like Reiki to meditation to just whatever, anything to help me open this chakra again. But it's more than anything, actually, I feel like giving birth to my child and just allowing myself to love this child, like that has been really helpful. Because it's almost like you can't help You know what I mean? You can't help but open it during those moments when you can fully let go and just enjoy spending your time with this incredible human being that you have helped bring into the world. Despite all the drama, despite all those crazy screaming and situations where I just want to tear my hair out, it's still, in moments where your child looks at you and they tell you, I love you so much, mommy. You're like, well, this is what it's all about. I wish there were more moments like that. Anyways, so maybe you also had those difficult experiences where the energy to the heart or through the heart chakra was kind of like interrupted. Maybe you had heartbreaks. You had situations where you like questioned if you can ever love again. So this is another one of your karmic lessons for this lifetime. And it looks like you, my friend, have quite a few things to like deal with in this life, and they're not easy by any stretch of imagination, but they are things that will help you really grow and evolve and learn how to love again, learn how to understand yourself and feel good about yourself and feel confident, and being able to speak your truth and stand your truth, and finding a way to see the good in the world, despite of the difficulties, despite of all of the challenges, despite all the craziness that happens in the world. But I feel like these are integral for everyone. These lessons are integral for everyone to go through in order to fully have this human experience, right? Because if you just go through life without having any kind of like serious issues, it's just kind of like maybe like little things here and there, you really can't grow from that, unfortunately. As wonderful as that would be, to learn from never having to worry about anything, it just doesn't happen. So like we really have to go through stuff that makes us uncomfortable, makes us question everything, including ourselves, including God. And that's fine, as long as you find this inner strength in yourself to overcome the challenges that you're faced with, and to still come out on the other side and be like, you know what, overall this was a really interesting experience, and there was a lot of it that I enjoyed, hopefully. And then also, let's see this last card that I have from the Angels and Ancestors deck. And this one says, oh, that's beautiful, Heart Guardian. Love and let yourself be loved. So I feel like this is a really big one. This is basically your heart chakra speaking. And let's see what the guidebook says as well in this one. I'm really curious. So the message for this one is, welcome with open arms, opportunities to give and receive love. The Heart Guardian is an angelic energy that can help you call for protection and guidance with all issues surrounding the heart. This is essentially the angel who helps you with all relationships, whether they be with yourself, family, or even a romantic connection. She can enable you to move beyond any limiting fears about trust, discern whom to trust, and understand how you can move forward in a balanced relationship with that person. In this card, she's adorned with a sacred heart and draped in a red cloak to show her capacity to let love lead the way. Extended message. You are love, lovable and loving. The energy of love is surrounding your whole world at this time. Angels are swirling around you, encouraging you to open your heart and reveal the blessings that you have to offer. They want you to know that you are a highly loving being who deserves to give and receive love. If you're finding it challenging to feel love at this time, it's important for you to give yourself credit where it's due. You are also encouraged to welcome support from others. Learn to receive, don't try and do everything on your own. If you're working on a relationship or are in a new relationship, this card can usher in energies that allow you to forge a powerful connection with your partner. Love is in the air. I love this message. Isn't that wonderful? So it's kind of a reminder to you that you are an incredible being of love. You are always loved, whether you realize it or not. There's always someone who loves the heck out of you. Just remember that. And don't be afraid to open up your heart again. You know, if you feel like, oh my God, should I? Like, if you start doubting yourself, I think this is a sign for you to really take the next step and let yourself love. And even if you had experiences in your life where that made it like really difficult to trust and love again, it's time to really let that go, to do your best. I mean, I know, of course, if it was that easy, then everybody would have done it 50 times already. But I'm just saying, this is a reminder that you got this, you can do it. You are loved and you are loved. And just really trust that it's going to work out. You know, we're here for just like this tiny little moment in eternity. We're like a speck of dust, you know? Dust in the wind. And before you know, like, this whole earthly experience is going to be over, and it's really hard to remember that when you're going through a lot of challenges. But at the end of the day, it's there for you to learn and to grow and to evolve in any way as a human being and as a soul, as a spiritual being. And being able to love and receive love and trust is a huge, huge part of it. So I really encourage you to listen to this message and go with that. Alrighty, so let's move on to pile number 2 now. And pile number 2 is with this beautiful stone, which again, I'm sorry, I really don't know what the name of it is yet. It does kind of look like obsidian, doesn't it? I think. Okay, yeah. I'll get on that later. Alright. Wow, lots of chakras today. Interesting. Wow, so it looks like one of the important karmic lessons in this lifetime for you is being able to trust enough and like being open enough in order to form relationships, in order to form partnerships and alliances with people, in order to let yourself depend on other people, not doing everything by yourself on your own and just thinking that like that's it, it's just you against the rest of the world, you know? And so this is about you learning how to trust. And of course, what's the best way to learn trust in this lifetime? It's probably to be betrayed by someone you care deeply about and someone you love and you have really counted on. So this is just to remind you that no matter how difficult that experience has been, it's really important for you to learn to trust again and to not feel like you are alone and you have to do everything alone. And then this one is wonderful. This is about prosperity. Look at this. Prosperity begins and something is growing. It's about you being able to manage the financial aspects of life. It's also about you being able to focus on abundance and to focus on the fact that you can make this business or whatever your idea grow and to actually have results, to have tangible results that represent all the hard work that you've put into this idea or this service or whatever this may be. So this is about you being able to invest your time, money, energy, effort into something that you find really important in your life. And the wonderful thing is that it looks like if you do that, you are going to be very successful at doing that because that's basically one of your lessons. You know, and you have to learn how not to give up. You have to believe that it's going to work out. You have to be really smart about how you go about it, what you do with it, how you handle pressure, and how you deal with things not working out in the way that you want them to. Just remembering that it's never really about failing or winning. You know, it's never about like losing or winning. It's really about the progress. It's about you taking the next steps towards success regardless of how challenging that might be, and really believing in yourself and like really believing in what you're doing and doing it with all of your heart and just knowing that it is going to work out, it's going to grow. So that's pretty awesome. And then this one is patience, and I love how, look, there is a tree growing here out of earth, and then this one has a beautiful lily, I believe. growing out of this tiny little seed. So maybe you're the type of person that that has a hard time waiting. I can totally relate to that. But one of your lessons in this life is to actually learn how to become comfortable with not knowing, with having to wait, with really appreciating the physicality of this world. Because from what I understand, in the spirit world, your thoughts can manifest instantaneously. And that's one of the things that we can't do here on this planet, in this physical reincarnation. And it's really hard to get used to the fact that everything takes so long, as compared to like if you were able to do it instantaneously. But then like, what's the fun in that? You know what I mean? I mean, okay, like to us right now, it sounds like a lot of fun, but I'm sure to the spirit who is eternal and infinite, it's just like, boring, And so to the spirit, this incarnation is actually one of the important lessons for us to really grasp and learn, is being able to channel our energy into something long enough for that to take place, to grow, to evolve. And so just remembering that if it's taken a while, it doesn't mean that you have to like give up on it. It doesn't. There's so many different factors that you should consider before giving up. But it's really, really important for you to remember that with patience, a lot can change, a lot can happen. And sometimes we just really have to see the good in it. Sometimes we just really have to notice that it's not about the destination, because we all have one destination. We're gonna die. I know it sounds very like fatal and kind of like apocalyptic or whatever, but that's the truth. We're here for the experience, not the end result necessarily, So patience, of course, is a huge part of it, and I encourage you to try to look at it from a different point of view, and like next time you have to wait for something, try to find something really interesting and cool about this process, about the process of waiting, and like why you feel like you are in that process, why you find yourself in that process, and what can you notice in the moment. Look around you and notice all the beauty that's in the world. Everything that you might be missing by wanting to hurry everything up. Okay? All right. And then lastly, we have crown chakra. So to me, this chakra is about connecting with the divine. It's about you being an open receptor and being able to really tap in. I guess to me, it most closely related with the previous chakra, with the third eye chakra. And it is about intuition as well. It's about your psychic abilities, but more than anything, it's about you connecting with God, whatever that word means to you, with the source. I kind of picture it as like if you're praying, you have these, if you just imagine the words being energy, and you have this like energy flowing out of you, out of this chakra and into heaven, or however you imagine that. It's about your connection to the divine. And I think one of the biggest lessons with this one is testing how much you believe you are supported and loved by God and by your guides and angels. It's kind of like testing your faith. Probably that's the lesson that I'm thinking about here. So maybe you've already had that, maybe you are yet to have the lesson, and it's just a reminder that something will test your faith. Probably more than once. Definitely more than once. And it's about you becoming more trusting spiritually. In order to find this faith, you almost have to lose it first. You know what I mean? You have to really struggle with it. But for you to fully embrace it and to fully understand its power and believe in it and just completely trust in it, you really have to, it has to be shaken. There's no way around it. So I think this card is reminding us of the importance of your faith, of your ability to keep believing despite the fact that it might be really difficult considering the circumstances that you go through. And it also kind of makes me think about the importance of praying, because I feel like prayer is kind of underrated. I feel like it's such a great thing, and it's something you can literally do at any point. It's like Kegels, you know, you can literally do this at any point, anywhere, and nobody's gonna know. So you just basically do this like in your head, but with all of your heart too. And when you do that, just believe and trust that your prayers are being heard and are gonna be answered in some way. Maybe it's not gonna be exactly in the way that you ask or picture it or want it. It's always gonna be in the way you need it, though. So definitely have faith, and remember that you're never, ever, ever alone. You're always being watched by the higher power and are always being aided and helped and guided. And even if it doesn't feel like it right now, this is a sign for you and a reminder that it's an illusion, okay? It's just an illusion that you're not being helped and you're not being guided. And I hope that you feel that and understand that, and being reminded of that helps you regain your faith again. And lastly, we have this one card. Ooh, I love this. Star Ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul. Oh my god. Incredible, beautiful card. And this one is all about listening to your soul, obviously. But let's just see what the guidebook says for this one as well. Heed the messages coming directly from your soul. The Star Ancestors is a Native American term for extraterrestrial light beings who are dedicated to the healing and growth of the world. These incredible beings are divine embodiments of love who bring wisdom from the higher realms. Often people feel a sense of connectedness when they look up into the night sky and see the stars. Yep, I can relate to that. I believe that's because they are remembering their starry connections, and those are what this card represents. The Star Ancestor is reminding you that you have otherworldly support, which is funny because that's literally what I just said, right? And that your friends from the stars can help you if you are willing to be helped. They support you in connecting with and following your soul's deepest calling. There is a deeper purpose to your human journey. Not only were you born on purpose, you were born for a purpose. You were born to be a bright light in the world, and there are supporters out there in the universe sending waves of energy to guide you at this time. Information and inspiration that has been coming your way recently is not new information, but memories. Your feelings of being drawn in a particular direction are the awakening of an aspect of your soul. You're being drawn towards a road that will not only light you up, but also help you light up your corner of the world. Continue following the cosmic guidance that is coming your way. Yeah. Sounds like a plan, and I really hope that this message makes sense to you and makes you feel like it's almost like an answer to one of your prayers or one of the questions you were thinking about. And I just really hope that you are reminded about how supported and loved you are, about the fact that you're never ever alone, and no matter how difficult things might be right now for you, please remember that this too shall pass and everything will get better. And it's all about this crazy, wonderful, beautiful, difficult experience we call life. And I think it's time to move on to pile number 3. And here we are with pile number 3. This beautiful stone. And let's see what the cards have to tell us about your karmic lessons. Oh, of course. Wow, really interesting cards. So to me right away, what sticks out is that you are a seeker of truth, which I can totally relate to because so am I. And I think one of the challenging lessons for this one is it's never being satisfied with an answer, basically. You know, because you're always wondering if there's more to what you want to know, if there's more to it than meets the eye. And it might be actually pretty annoying to other people. I'm just speaking from my own experience because they can't necessarily relate to it always. But to you, it's incredibly important to really get to the bottom of things and to really spend your life researching and doing inner work, a lot of inner work and outer work, in order for you to find the truth, right? Your truth and the truth, whatever that might be. So I feel like this one is very closely related to this card, which is a balance or moderation. And it's important for you to keep going, to never feel satisfied with how much you know. But at the same time, there has to be an aspect of moderation or balance in this whole situation, because otherwise you're just always going to be in turmoil. You're always going to be worried that you don't know enough, or that something feels off and you just can't put your finger on it. And it's really important to be open to this knowledge, and to also understand that a lot of this knowledge, whether you realize it or not, is actually going to come from within yourself. Okay? I mean, I think the world is fascinating, and there are so many things, especially right now in the age of technology, there are so many things that are just like incredibly interesting and fascinating and make you question everything, like the nature of our reality and how the future is going to be, like how big of a role artificial intelligence is going to play in our lives and in the future generations, which I think is going to be freaking huge. Like up to the point where all of our thoughts are probably going to be like recorded and listened to, which is kind of creepy. But it's all about you really taking this journey to enjoy learning, okay? Like not to create something negative out of it, not to make it into something that drains you, and just because you can't find the answer you're looking for, okay? Because you probably, unfortunately, never gonna find the answer you're looking for, because it's not even outside of you. So unless you look inside, it's probably not even gonna be there. But it's about enjoying this journey. It's about going with it. It's about doing the best you can and taking the time to meditate, taking the time to listen to your inner voice and your inner knowledge. It's not even stuff that you've learned in this lifetime, okay? We can access and tap into cosmic knowledge, into the Akashic records. We all have this incredible connection to the divine if we are open to it and if we train ourselves for it. I guess some people can easily forge it, and they're just like born with the psychic abilities and stuff, but a lot of us actually really have to work at it. So again, this card I feel like plays into this lesson as well, but it looks like one of your other lessons is knowing when to stop, okay? And dealing with moderation issues, whether it's related to food, or whether it's related to seeking knowledge or being in a relationship and being obsessed with a person. It's anything that's kind of creating a lack of balance that you really have to pay attention to, and kind of always finding your way back towards moderation and balance. Because that's also really important, because when things are out of balance, there's just no way to live a healthy life. You know what I mean? Even if it's like you're a workaholic, and it's one thing if you're a drug addict, let's say, and you're spending all of your time looking for drugs and then using the drug. It's just, you're like draining your energy completely, dedicating it to this goal that's drug related. But it's another thing if you're a workaholic and you think, hey, like I'm creating money, I'm creating abundance by being a workaholic, so this is great, I'm doing something I'm obsessed about, and in the meantime, I'm actually bringing abundance into my life. That part of it is great, abundance is always great, but at the same time, that's not all there is to it, okay? Like, what about all the other aspects of that situation that are out of balance, like you spending time with family and it never feels enough for them, or you just basically ignoring everything that doesn't relate to work, So there just always has to be balance in order for you to live a truly fulfilling life, okay? And so the other two we have are shadow and financial material changes. This one to me means that maybe in your life you have had periods where you feel very comfortable financially and everything is going fine and you're like, oh great, like I don't ever have to worry about it, and then you boom, like you hit the bottom all of a sudden, something happens, or like for whatever reason, and you find yourself feeling completely insecure when it comes to the finance, and you just don't know how to manage this money correctly for you to once again have balance in your life. So I feel like it's all coming back to balance anyway. But it's about you also being comfortable with the fact that nothing is forever, okay? And if you're able to enjoy the times when you do have this financial stability and everything is great, definitely try to make the best of it. And also to remember to be careful about how you handle that situation, and not being not being a crazy spender or anything like that. Just being really careful with your investments and how you invest your time and money. And it's also about being comfortable with uncertainty, okay? And that's a hard one for everyone, okay? And everyone has to have those lessons as well. But it's about not knowing what to expect and being kind of fine with it as much as possible. Just accepting the fact that we just don't know. Like we don't ever know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen an hour from now. But we live in this imaginary world where we think that we have so much control over it. Okay? So this is about kind of enjoying your time and enjoying what you do have, and like really basically enjoying it when you do have it and not going crazy when you don't. Okay? And just kind of remembering that it's gonna come back. Everything is a cycle. Everything goes like this, okay? Nothing is just, growing exponentially. There always has to be some type of a cycle, and changes are inevitable. So the more comfortable you become with that idea, the easier it's going to be for you to handle situations when things are not going according to plan. And then lastly, we have a very interesting card, which is your shadow, confronting your shadows. And to me, this one always, it always makes me think about addictions for some reason. But it's also about you confronting those parts of yourself or your fears that are really preventing you from living your fullest life, your fullest potential. It's a very, very big and important lesson. And this is something you will probably have to go through more than once, unfortunately. But every time you become stronger, just remember that. Every time it actually will get a little bit easier the next time you have to deal with it. So it's about you always having to make a choice and being clear about which direction is the correct one for you, which direction feels right, and which direction you know that you should be going there, and there's something preventing you, like within yourself. There's something within yourself that makes you question it or prevents you from like listening to your deepest desires and your heart. And whatever it is, there's only one way around it. You have to overcome it. And so whether this is your fears or an addiction, please remember that this is a karmic lesson for this lifetime that is really, really important for you. And it's really important to pay attention to that and to really try to make the best possible decision for yourself the next time you have a choice of whether or not to make that decision. So it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of inner strength, believing in yourself, and really being able to listen to yourself. So I really hope you do pay attention to that the next time you have this type of a choice. And then lastly, we have this beautiful card. It says High Priest, Intend and Create. Okay, let's see what the guidebook says on this one. And this one says, recognize that you have the power to change your life. Face your fear and aligned with the light. In many traditions, the high priest is the physical embodiment of the divine masculine. He acts as a bridge between worlds and is able not only to divine the future, but to help create it too. He may be a leader in his spiritual tradition or, in pagan traditions, be second to the high priestess, but he's always spiritually connected and disciplined, with great respect for his creator and his particular practice. In a reading, this card can represent a spiritual figure, leader, or teacher in your life, or an aspect of your path that has led you to where you are today. You are a bridge between heaven and earth, and it's important for you to know that you are more powerful and connected than you may think. Everything you're giving attention and energy to at this time is creating your way forward. There have been some setbacks, but accept these as experiences that have led you to a deeper understanding of yourself and your spirit. Know that you're being guided by the ancestors to direct your thoughts and energies towards what you want to grow, heal, and expand. And then watch it happen right before your eyes. Love this message. So it does sound like you've had a lot of struggles to deal with thus far. But if you know someone in your life who could be a mentor or maybe is already a mentor for you, I really encourage you to connect with that person and to learn from them. And I feel like, there's two parts of you, one of which kind of like wants to go forward and like do whatever it is that you feel like you should be doing. And the other one is really finding all the reasons not to. So I definitely encourage you to listen to the part of yourself that has this desire and interest. And I encourage you to keep going and to always believe that you're not alone, and to remember to take moderation into account and to just really believe in yourself. Okay? So hopefully you found this message helpful, and I love you guys so much, and I'm sending you much love and light, and I'm wishing you an awesome day or night. And I hope to connect with you all very, very, very soon. And my phone is running out of memory, so I gotta stop this right now. But love you guys so much, and I hope you enjoyed this reading, y'all. Bye!